Hey YouTube, it's been a while. Some of you might know a while ago back I made some videos on object-oriented ontology, and I've also long made some videos on process philosophy, process relational philosophy, like Whitehead's ideas and stuff. I think object-oriented ontology has a really good critique of some of the ideas in the whole relationism that Whitehead seems to fall into, or reducing objects to their relations or to events, and I think object-oriented ontology makes a really good counterclaim to that about how objects recede from their relations. There is always more that they have in potential than is exhausted in any of their relations or any of their histories. There's always also something about the object that is always enduring through time, that is undergoing the relations and so on. So I think there's something valuable there. But I've also I've never been able to fully sign on to at least Graham Harman's version of object-oriented ontology, because first of all, I mean, I've always felt I still like the whole idea of a process philosophy. It's a philosophy that takes novelty seriously, that sees becoming as something very valuable and important in understanding metaphysics. And I feel like object-oriented ontology just kind of largely doesn't address that, and it just becomes this sort of block universe, this sort of billiard ball universe again of objects running into each other, and some they'll combine to form a new object or whatever. So I wanted to be able to synthesize these two philosophies, and I think I have this. I've come up with an idea for it, and I think often a new idea requires a new terminology. So I came up with the term structation. I can't take full credit for this. I got the idea from David Bohm, who came up with this idea called the RIA mode of language, where it turns English into a more verb-based form, so that it expresses a process view rather than a sort of idea of fixed objects. And so he took the term structure and coined the verb structate. So structate is what a structure does. It maintains a form over time, and it's understood that the form is not permanent. It breaks down. It has a genesis. So it's still a process. But and so I reconjugate that into the noun form again of structation. So objects are structations. Events are structations. They're and I kind of thought that a way you could map this would be have instead of saying, well, are they objects or are they events, I think that we can have an axis of objects and events, so that for a given structation of it can based on its duration, it can be either an event or an object, and it can be an event or object relative to another structation. I think I have another axis of receding and relating, because remember that object-oriented ontology emphasizes the receding of objects, but Graham Harman makes them into like these vacuums that never touch other objects directly, and it's always within a higher object that is touched. I think that's going a little too far, but I think it's also good to make sure we don't reduce them to their relations. So objects are certainly immanent within their relations, but they're also transcend the relations. They recede from them, and so then you have an XY axis for any given structation of receding and relating on one hand, and then object or event on the other hand. But then, given my sort of theological proclivities, I thought I could reduce the object event axis to a single thing called endurance. You have receding and relating as part of that, so you have a trinity, and you can call receding transcendence and relating immanence. So you have transcendence, immanence, and endurance. And I think that I think that theologically is is the attributes of God. There's the transcendent God, the God the Father who's beyond all things, and then the Logos that is immanent within the creation, and then the Holy Spirit. I think that's a little bit more of a stretch, but I think the endurance, if we think of the Holy Spirit as like the indwelling presence of God, the one that receives, the one that receives the Logos into its being. I think that's essentially talking about the historicity of. So. It's a little game I thought I'd play with it, but the point is, of course, that's not just God. If you don't have to believe in God to take this framework I'm talking about seriously. I think the point is that these three aspects are within all structations. The universe is composed of structations of different duration, of different size, of different sort of ontological status. But I think this kind of helps resolve the tension that I saw between the two philosophies. So just putting it out there, see what you think. Peace.